Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for making time for today's 7 Ways to Grow Your Business webinar. This is another in our ongoing series of complimentary education webinars that we will be regularly producing, free for clients and non-clients alike. Look out for others. We aim to produce and present about one a month. For those that don't know me, my name is Jim Bell. I'm the Director of James Bell Accounting. As always, I'm keen to get this information out to you as soon as I can, and with my other team members usually doing some other urgent work for clients, I've decided to present this and future webinars without moderator's support. So please bear with me if things go astray. There's a time for questions at the end of the webinar. If for some reason I can't get to them, please send me any by email after the webinar and I'll get back to you. For those who are unfamiliar with the webinar environment, these are the Zoom settings. Let's take a closer look at the webinar controls. Select audio settings to select and test your speakers. Submit questions via the Q&A button. I'll try and answer them at the end of the webinar. And click leave meeting if you need to leave at any time. All attendees will receive a follow-up email after the webinar, perhaps tomorrow, and we'd love your feedback whether or not you're left early. Now, I'd be grateful if somebody were to put their hand up, raise hand, the middle one, just so that I can see that everybody can hear me and I'm not simply talking to myself. So could somebody please put a raised hand up? Thank you. Finally, you guys make me wait. My heart gets beating faster and faster and faster. I'm sure you do it on purpose. Many of you are by now aware that our core purpose at JBA is for us to help our clients achieve their business potential so that they can live the lifestyle they want to. That includes not only offering clients an efficient compliance service, reducing taxes and getting tax return filed on time, that sort of thing, but also offering tried and proven strategies to improve your businesses. These regular complimentary educational webinar offerings are part of those strategies. Today, I'd like to kick things off with some wise words for the session from Thomas Jefferson. If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. Those words were written about 230 years ago. They're as true today as they were then. This session today is about challenging you to do something different in your business so you can achieve results you've never achieved. During the course of my presentation, I'd encourage you to take notes. As with all our webinars, the video of the presentation will be uploaded to our website and our YouTube page in the next day or so. We can also supply copies of the slides to you by email after the webinar. If you want, just email me or Josh if you want them sent to you. Before we get stuck in, I just want to throw in our usual disclaimer that the information in the educational webinar is in general in nature and no substitute for tailored advice specific to your particular circumstances. One of the biggest problems in small businesses is what we call FTI, or failure to implement. If you don't write your actions down, you won't remember them. Just like if you don't write down your business goals for the next year, you'll be far less likely to achieve any. We want you to get maximum value from this webinar, so if you have any questions, please submit them. And as I say, if I can't get back to them today, I'll get back to them in the very near future. We'll cover today how you need to make the choice to change and how to develop a roadmap and dashboard for your business. We'll then get into the 7 ways to grow your business, and I'll show you a worked example which demonstrates how you can seemingly make small adjustments to your business, but the compound effect on the bottom line and cash flow can be very significant. Then it's accountability time, when you have to decide what action you're going to take as a result of coming along today. We've been through a lot recently, and it's likely you need to make some changes in your business. Change won't just happen on its own. You have to make the choice to change. There are generally 5 steps in the process. The first is being aware that you need to change. It's unlikely your business has been able to continue as completely as what we call the previous normal. The next step is to accept that change is needed. It may not be easy, but the alternative of not changing won't be easy either. Now that you've accepted change is needed, you need to take action. What steps do you need to take to enable the change? Most people get stuck here. They respond to immediate actions while in crisis mode, but fail to take longer term action that's required. To make sure you do take action, accountability is required. Being held accountable by someone independent really does make things happen. These webinars by us are a simple example of a result of that happening. We were and are held accountable, and one of the changes to our practice that was put to us was the making and producing and the hosting of webinars. Many of you recall my saying that independent accountability is the glue that gets results, and it's true. And finally, take time to acknowledge the change of action. Take your team on the journey and give positive reinforcement. Before you can make a plan from where you want your business to go, you must first understand where your business is at now, which is your point A. The impact of COVID-19 means that you're likely to be further away from your destination than you otherwise would have been. Point B may be harder to get to now. It's likely that your original point B is still possible, it just may take longer, or the route getting there may look a little different. For example, before COVID, your point A may have been a $50,000 overdraft, and your goal was to reach point B of having $50,000 cash in the bank within 12 months. So you'd have to increase your bank account by $100,000 to reach point B. What does point A in your business look like now? Well, maybe you've had to extend your overdraft by another $25,000 to cover expenses over lockdown. So point A is now a $75,000 overdraft, and the journey to point B is increasing in the cash in your account by $125,000. So it might be more realistic to aim for point B in perhaps say 2 years instead of 12 months. Do you know what point A looks like in your business? What is your goal for point B? What does the journey to get there look like? So now you know where you are as out of COVID and where you want to go. You need to revise your plan. This could be reviewing and updating your existing business plan, or it could be developing a business recovery plan if the impact of COVID on your business has been huge. If the impact of COVID on your business has been minimal, it's likely an update of your business plan would be the best option. If your business doesn't yet have a business plan, now's probably a good time to instigate one. But if your business has been significantly impacted, we'd recommend a business recovery plan. This will help you revise your personal budget as well as your business budget to reduce the pressure on your business's cash flow. It'll help determine what additional finance may be needed, and it'll revise your business budget and break-even analysis. You'll also establish your most critical KPIs to monitor at this time and identify opportunities, vulnerabilities, and critical challenges. You'll then identify risks in each department of your business, as well as mitigation strategies, and set annual and 90-day goals to achieve your business plan. When working out your budget, start with the profit you need your business to deliver, and then work your way up to determine the required sales level. For example, in the past, $150,000 might have been your target profit for your business to deliver, but being in lockdown may have shown that you can live on less. So after revising your personal budget, you may be able to reduce your profit target to $130,000 to take pressure off your business. Let's say your overheads were $350,000, but after leaving no stone unturned when reviewing your expenses, you might be able to trim this down to $325,000. This gives us a gross profit target now of $455,000, not $500,000. If we want to keep our gross profit at 39%, we would need to achieve sales of 1.16 million. While this is lower than our previous target, we may need to have a more brutal look at our expenses to ensure our goal is attainable. In this current climate, you'll need to develop this sort of in more detail, but this is the idea of things that will get you back onto track in respect to your monthly targets and give you things to monitor. Sales now required 1.1 million compared to 1.2 or nearly 1.3 million. Now you know where you're going and what you want to achieve, it's time to set up your dashboard. And don't worry, we'll get to the 7 ways to grow your business shortly. What we're doing at the moment is getting our business in a position to know where to grow it from. The dashboard on your car shows how fast you're going, how much fuel you'll have left, and the temperature of your engine. It gives you an indication about whether you'll make your destination. It's the same in the business. The things on your business's dashboard are what we call key performance indicators or KPIs. But think of them as a similar dashboard to that of your car. Essentially, they measure things that tell you if you're on track to achieve your plan. Your dashboard should show the top 5 or 4, depending on your business, just a few anyway, measures which drive most of your business improvement. Focusing on a small number of KPIs allows you to capture, monitor, report, and improve them. There are many KPIs out there, and many authors will tell you need this one and that one and the other one and your auntie's one and your uncle's one all sorted. You don't. There's really 3, 4, or 5 basic ones that most businesses would need, and these are critical that we monitor. For example, a manufacturer. Their KPIs may well be gross profit percentage, cost of rework, work in progress days, and debtor days. Measuring those and improving them shows we are heading in the right direction. A retailer, for example, may be more interested in sales, gross profit percentage, how much profit in each sale, average client spend, and transaction frequency. Now, these things are all necessary to measure in order to improve your business. And you'll see later the interrelationship with this particular dashboard page and the 7 ways to grow your business later. It's important you determine which KPIs you should be measuring and set goals for them for their improvement, and establish a dashboard to regularly monitor how you're progressing. When you set goals, do you have someone to hold you accountable for what you committed to? What are the consequences for you if you don't achieve those goals? Do you have a soft coach or a hard coach? Remember the 5 A's of change we saw before. One of them was accountability. You simply must have someone independent hold you accountable to your actions, and there should be consequences for inaction. Having your spouse hold you accountable generally doesn't work. Independence is the key. To summarize, if your business is in the vehicle that delivers to you what you want in life, the top 4 things you need to do to make sure you get to your destination are: set an annual plan, set an annual budget, set and measure 4 to 5 of the most important KPIs. I've just talked about those a couple of slides ago. Have someone independent hold you accountable to your plan. Now, before we get started on the 7 ways to grow your business, it's important for you to understand the marketing flywheel. This concept shows how to attract, engage, and delight customers, and demonstrates that you shouldn't just focus on gaining new customers, but that you should focus on delighting your current customers too. First, we have strangers, people who haven't heard about our business. We can do some marketing to introduce our business to these strangers, who will then become prospects. Prospects who have the opportunity to buy. When those prospects make a purchase, they become customers. And if we treat them right, these customers will become our promoters. The more promoters we have, the more people we have to speak to strangers about our business. So the cycle continues. In order to attract prospects to our business, we need to provide value before we extract value from them. Think about what these prospects will get from doing business with us and the problems we can solve. To convert prospects into customers, we must engage them by making it as easy as possible for them to buy from us. Our marketing is what attracts and engages prospects and turns them into customers. Our sales processes should ensure customers continue to be engaged and are followed up with really good service. Delighted customers will share their feedback with strangers, creating more prospects, customers, and promoters. Equally, people who have had a bad experience with us will not hesitate in passing that information on to. The level of service we provide determines how we delight and attract current and future customers. The aim is to keep the marketing flywheel spinning as fast as possible, converting more strangers into prospects and prospects into customers, and providing such good service that those customers become our promoters. Following this process is essential to growing your business. And now, onto the 7 ways to grow your business. The first way to grow your business is to increase your customer retention rate. It's much cheaper to make sales to existing customers. In fact, statistics show that it's 6 times easier and cheaper to make sales to existing customers than it is to new customers. By delighting our customers, we make them want to return, therefore increasing our customer retention rate. I challenge all of you to think about what you do to delight your customers. Are there improvements you can make within the services you provide to make your customers even more delighted with you? Follow the FGG principle to delight your customers. Find out what they want, go and get it, and give it to them. Corny, I know, but it's not rocket science. The second way to grow your business is to generate more leads. The best way to generate more leads is to delight your customers so they become promoters and provide you with more leads. Thinking back to the flywheel we spoke about a few minutes ago. You can't, though, purely rely on your existing customers to do your marketing for you. So you must attract strangers using marketing strategies and providing value. This may be a free download on your website, a free trial, a free consultation. Show them the problems you'll solve if they engage you in a service. But by thinking outside the square, often giving something for nothing, you will be seen to provide value to potential strangers who become potential customers. And then when they see the value, they become customers. The third way to grow your business is to increase your conversion rate. Do you measure how successful you are at converting leads, quotes, and proposals into sales? Not many people do. But when they do, and they find their actual numbers, and they make positive change and improvements to the way they deal with leads, quotes, and proposals, over time they become astounded by the increase in their conversion rate. And as we'll see later, that impacts greatly on bottom line. So while, and I'm trying not to, I probably talk a little bit of Cantonese at present, what I'm trying to really do is get everybody to take a step back from their business and look at the processes that they do almost automatically in terms of running your business, and see if there aren't ways we can break it down, find where we are with those processes and improve them. If we improve all of these rates that we're talking about, the byproduct of that is a much improved bottom line. You should be monitoring the conversion rates of all members of your sales team. If some are performing better than others, find out why. Are you using the right people in the sales process? A key to successfully converting sales is to ensure you're dealing with the decision maker. If you don't deal with the gatekeeper, then the person you're dealing with can't make the decision whether that business is going to deal with yours or not. It's really important that you get straight to the people who can make things happen, who can make the decision whether to run with you or not. There's no point putting a presentation together for somebody that still has to run away to a boss, and then you have to put the presentation again to the boss. It would have been much better to have done it in the first instance, halved your time, and got an answer. It's really important that you always try and deal with the decision maker. You should also offer a range of options so that the question becomes, which option should I buy, rather than should I buy? If the question has become, which option should I buy, the answer to the question, should I buy, has been done, and we're just talking about what service, what product, what option customer is going to take. So if we give them enough options, and it doesn't need to be many, and often too many is confusing, but if we give them options, that is more likely to help or make the positive decision to buy. The fourth way to grow your business is to increase the transaction frequency. As I said earlier, it's much harder to sell to new customers than it is to sell to existing customers. So it makes sense to encourage those customers that buy from us already to buy from us more often. A good example of that was a simple hairdressing client. When we sat down with the owner and we worked out that we could encourage or have her encourage her customers to make more appointments during the year than they were making, her bottom line increased dramatically. Some customers were seeing her every 8 weeks. Well, by the time she had talked many of them to see her every 6 weeks, the effect was the same as if she'd got a whole lot more customers, when in fact she hadn't. She had the same number, but the transaction frequency was increasing, and it went straight down to bottom line. That's one example. You can also increase transaction frequency by sending reminders to people, introducing VIP cards, or offering special deals to existing customers. Like I said before, it is much easier to sell or to support and serve current customers than the trying to obtain and carry out the same functions for newer customers. Of course, we've still got to do that, but your current customer base often don't know what they don't know and require more service or more product or more whatever it happens to be. So if you spend some time focusing on their needs and manage to increase the transactions that they have with you, then that will result in increased bottom lines. And it isn't always about the sell, sell, sell. It's actually really a matter of focusing on the customer and supporting and serving them. Because sometimes they need more things, not that they necessarily know it at the time, but when they realize or they do, they think you're wonderful for being there to support them. So it's not always about the sell, it's about the support, about the service. The fifth way to grow your business is to increase the transaction value. Immediately, when I brought this up in sessions and educational presentations in the past, people have run away and thought it straight away about increasing prices. It doesn't necessarily mean increasing your prices. Think about how you could add more value to your customers. Could you provide them with a range of options? It may well be that one of the options you provide them with has more transactional value than the option they were previously using. But if they move to that more expensive one, it might serve their needs more. Is it clear to your customers what your business offers? Don't assume they already know. Tell them. People don't know what they don't know. As corny as this is, but it's proved to have been worked, and I think you'll all agree, follow the would you like fries with that concept. Adapt this to suit your business, obviously, and hopefully without it being too corny, but the principle is such. But be aware, try not to offer a discount unless the customer has purchased an add-on. Discounts immediately come off bottom line and gross margin. Discounts are an expensive way of doing business. Sometimes necessary, but be very careful and wary of them. The sixth way to grow your business is to reduce your variable costs. These are the costs which increases sales increase. And again, I apologize for the Cantonese. I'm trying to minimize such, but sometimes it's the only way of expressing what we're trying to express. These costs that increase as sales increase, such as direct labor, the cost of materials, sales commissions to sales reps. If we can control or reduce those, we're going to get better margins. Business is going to grow. Ways of doing this may be some things like implementing better systems to accurately record time, implementing better systems to accurately record what materials have been used and their volume, as well as implementing strategies to reduce rework and wastage. Wastage is a big one in the hospitality food sector. These sorts of system implementations, and yes, they're big words, but sometimes they're as simple as writing things down on a piece of paper just to keep in control of it, will help reduce your variable costs. Once variable costs have been reduced and sales dollars remain the same, the result is increased gross margin, which flows straight down to increased net profit. There's no more overhead incurred with that. They become straight down into increased net profit, meaning more bucks in your pocket. The final way to grow your business is to reduce your overheads. These are your fixed costs as compared to what we just spoke a moment ago about being variable costs. These are fixed costs like phone, power, rent, office supplies, that sort of thing. How often do you review your overheads? It should normally be done at least annually. However, in our view, and especially in these COVID present times, if you haven't already reviewed them as part of your recovery plan or current business approach, you should do so now. Go through your annual financial statements we've prepared for you or your Xero reports and identify overheads you could potentially reduce. By cutting them out, you're immediately improving bottom line. For example, you may be able to negotiate better terms for your utilities. Certainly the power companies always want you to move to them. Well, it might be worth doing every 12 months, 24 months. Or you may be able to negotiate better terms for your rent or reduce the amount of office supplies being used, for example. Years ago, as an accounting cadet, long before I became a partner in a firm, one of the old-fashioned partners used to count the ballpoint pens to make sure nobody was putting them in their pocket and taking them home at night. I mean, unbelievable, but he was one of the old school accountants from the 40s and 50s or even earlier. He'll be well dead now. But the point being, what he was trying to do was to reduce the amount of office supplies being used, fixed costs, keeping the profit up. Now, while we're on this subject, let's talk about accounting fees, something close to my heart. Here I am telling you to reduce your costs. So if you think we're a cost, you should cut us now. And there goes my throat being cut. But if you want to work with us as a strategic partner in your business, to use our experience and our knowledge in helping you grow your business, to keep your taxes under control, to have your compliance, legal compliance matters such as Companies Office, income tax dealt with, so you're not getting penalties and charges, superfluous charges for those, then you need us now more than ever. Think of us as an investment rather than a cost. Two of our goals are to have you pay as little tax as possible where possible, and where possible, save you more tax, and to help you grow your business way more than any accounting fees that you may pay extra for those sorts of support and services from us. Let's have a look now at the growth equation. Let's put all that we've just talked about, and I have thrown a fair bit at you, and I accept that, and I apologize again for the accountanese and for the numbers that are coming up, but it's really the principles that we're trying to get to you. If we use this growth equation as a calculator, we can show you how small changes can have a big impact on profit. By monitoring your KPIs, you can set goals for improvement. The calculator I'm about to show you shows you the 7 ways to grow your business in action. For efficiency during the webinar, we've used screenshots of the calculator. We can sit down with you and run your own numbers to see the impact that small changes will make for your business and determine goals for improving your KPIs for new profits. But for now, we've tried to use just general examples. So let's have a quick look at the current KPIs and profit for this example company. Then I'll show you the impact small changes can make on the profit and the value of the business. Now, I make a point of saying that that's something a lot of people forget, the value of their business. While your business is creating, or the vehicle to create, the lifestyle that you currently enjoy or wish to enjoy, a business that has grown and has become more valuable is more saleable and will reach a higher dollar when you come to sell. Of course, that's then going to impact greatly on your retirement years. So small changes not only make an increase in profit, they will increase the value of your business. In this example, please note that numbers have all been rounded in case anyone is trying to do the calculations in their head and prove me wrong. Don't worry about the numbers if I lose you. It's more the principle of what I'm trying to make here so that you can sort of have some understanding of how this all dovetails in. Let's say this company had 765 existing customers with a retention rate of 85%, giving them an average of 650 retained customers. Let's also say they received 145 inquiries with a conversion rate of 50%, which gives them a total now of 723 customers. If each customer makes on average 1.1 transactions per year with an average transaction value of $1,560, the annual sales or annual turnover is 1.24 million. Now, let's say their cost of goods sold, their direct margin is 70%. The expenses, overhead expenses are 265,000. They come off the annual sales. This leaves them with a net profit of 107,000. Now, let's suppose to demonstrate the increase in the value of this business, we've used a very basic calculation valuation multiplier of 3 times the profit. This isn't actually how we would value a business in real life, but it provides a very rough guide, and you can see sort of the concepts that are being used here. So we've got annual sales of 1.2 million, cost of sales of 70% of that come off, then overhead expenses of 265,000 come off. We're left with a net profit for the year of 107,000. If we multiply that by 3, the business valuation is 321,000. Let's say 320,000. So what changes could this business make to improve its profit and also its value? The first way to grow your business is to increase your customer retention rate. Let's say this business implements a customer loyalty program and creates a customer Facebook group. This results in an increase in their retention rate from 85% to 90%. They now retain an additional 39 customers from what they had before. Let's say they receive the same number of inquiries, but due to the impact of COVID, their conversion rate drops to 45% from 50%. This means they only now acquire 65 new customers during the year, not 73. So we're going up and down to show that these things do go up and down. Their total number of customers is now 754 compared to 723 in the previous example. The customer loyalty program means that customers now make an average of 1.3 transactions per year and spend an extra $40 per transaction. So they're now spending $1,600, 1.3 times, not $1,560, 1.1 times. Sales have now increased to 1,567,800 from 1,240,000. If the business negotiates better terms with their supplier or improves their inventory processes, cost of goods sold might reduce to 65%. Let's say they do, just for this example. These changes to the KPIs came about due to additional coaching from their accountant and smart thinking. As well as additional investment in their accountant, there was also an increase in wage costs. So expenses have in fact gone up from 265 to 300. Being an increase in accountancy fees and an increase in wage costs to support all these sales. So now expenses are 300, not 265,000, an increase of total of 35,000. This though gives a new profit of 248,000 compared to the previous 107,000. An increase of $141,658. Now, I know these are huge assumptions, but you can see, I think, the point that a few small changes can impact great numbers at the bottom line. Now, if we take that 248,000 and multiply it by our 3 times valuer, the business suddenly becomes worth 746,000 rather than 321. An indicative value increase of $425,000. So you can see the business only had to make small changes, but it more than doubled its net profit. And by focus on delighting customers, you retain more of them and they're more likely to buy from you more often and spend more when they do. Remember, this is just an example and your numbers will be different. We can meet up with you, and we have done with numbers of clients, and go through and input your numbers into the growth equation calculator just to work out the impact small changes could have on your business. Some of our clients have been quite startled by this sort of result. I am cautious and very much aware of the assumptions that we're talking about, though. In practical terms, the changes will be very minor, but added together, they should still make an increase in profit and valuation. As Albert Einstein famously said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. Now, we all know this, right? So what do we have to do differently this year? Well, we have 4 choices. We can do nothing. Yes, that was a nice webinar, Jim. Yes, I know I should probably do something differently, but change just seems to be a little bit hard. And there'll be people that, and probably more than I'd like, but people that, yep, that's what happens. There might be retreat. People retreat. I might try a couple of things, but have a couple of bad days in the business, so I retreat back. Again, these are normal types of responses, but responses we want to try and change. Some people would take what we would have thought would be the normal amounts of action. I do a few of the easier things here and there and get some quick cash flow improvement, but I haven't really fundamentally changed my business. So those quick wins evaporate along with the quick cash. Things go back to what they were. Or, and this is where we'd like everybody to be, we take massive amounts of action. I want to fundamentally change my business because it's here to serve me and not the other way around. A lot of people forget that. They get up and they get tied in their business and tied to their business. They tend to serve it rather than it serving them. Your business should fund your lifestyle and hopefully even your retirement. So, as the old saying goes, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got, right? Well, actually, I don't think so. We know now that's not possible in the current environment. If you do what you've always done, you'll get less than what you used to get. How can we help you? 5 main areas, apart from our usual, of course, compliance services and other business development type strategies and services we have. We can help you. You can attend our regular business improvement webinars. And like I say, we aim to hold one of these a month. They're free. We can sit down with you and do a full annual business plan. Now, these aren't the business plans that the bank want. We're not talking about the things that they require. They're really trying just to cover their backsides in terms of, can you repay any monies they advance to you? Or did they have enough security if you can't? We're talking about taking your business as a vehicle and driving it so that profit and value drop out of it for you. We can annually prepare a business plan for you with that focus, not bank focus, but that focus from 1950 plus GST. We have a 4-hour meeting, and of course a lot of preparatory work prior to that, but a 4-hour meeting together to work through the detail to come up with a roadmap and business plan, which, if achieved, will take your business from A to B and make it much more valuable at B than it was at A, and having earned more profit too. We can quarterly coach with you. We can look at your numbers that maybe you have in-house or that we have prepared on a monthly or quarterly basis for you, and we can comment on those. We can meet and go through those. And for many of our clients that do that, those sort of prices are around about $495 per quarter. With respect to what we're doing today, and I'll comment a little bit more in a moment, there's a 7 ways to grow your business action list and a phone call or a Zoom meeting. Well, we're not charging for that. I'll come up with a little bit more comment to that in a moment. And for those people that aren't clients, of course, we've got complimentary meetings just to go through what they may or may not need. Now, I do make a point once again to say that the information in this webinar is general in nature and not specific for anybody, and it's not tailored for anybody. And for anybody wanting proper information for their circumstances, it needs to be specific and tailored advice and supportive of them. There are several ways we can help you get more out of today and beyond today's webinar. If you don't have a business plan, we can work with you to develop yours over that half-day session I mentioned before. If you need a bit of accountability to ensure you're on track to achieve your goals, we can meet with you quarterly and reset the goals and actions in your business plan. So we don't just have to look at those quarterly reports or monthly reports that you might have, your monthly numbers. For those that have got an annual business plan, we can tie that all together. And that's where the value more so comes in, the preparation of the business plan and the quarterly review of that and changing things that need to be changed, rather than waiting 12 months and finding that it's just far too late. We do offer other coaching options if you prefer, or more or less frequently than quarterly. Just see me about your own needs. But for most people, we find quarterly meetings, quarterly coaching, whatever you want to call it, is sufficient for them to take hold of their business by the scruff of the neck and drive it forward. We're also offering all today's attendees the opportunity to complete a complimentary 7 ways to grow your business action list. This will allow you to identify the actions you can take to grow your business. We will then have a free 15-minute phone call or Zoom meeting where we'll review your completed action list and ensure you've identified all the actions relevant to your business and that you have a plan to implement these changes. Contact me by email after the webinar and I'll send you the list. And finally, we offer, like I said, to our clients a 1-hour complimentary meeting each year. And for those clients or those people who aren't clients, a complimentary meeting to establish whether they should become clients of our firm or not. But everybody should have a 1-hour complimentary meeting each year so that we can tie a lot of these things together on top of and over and above the compliance work that is required for your annual accounts and tax returns and all those sorts of things, which again, we need to do to stop you getting penalties and interest and making sure you comply with the legal requirements that you have. Well, I've probably put you all to sleep because it actually looks like we've got no questions at the moment, or maybe some of the information I've been saying was of such a nature where you're going to go away and think about it for yourselves. And I would encourage and hope that you did that. So we're going to finish a wee bit early today, which is probably not a bad thing. So before we go, I thought I'd share this quote with you. Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. Make a simple plan today. Commit to at least 3 actions you'll take as a result of today's webinar. Write them down. Give each of them an owner in your business, or it might just be you, and a completion date. Remember, if you need our support, we're here for you. Thanks for making the time to attend this webinar. I appreciate that your time is very valuable. I hope I've given you plenty of ideas to ponder and some clear next steps for you and your business. If you take on board the 7 ways to grow your business and you make positive, fine adjustments within those structures, the results will speak for themselves at the bottom line. Probably tomorrow you should receive a follow-up email from us that we'd love you to provide brief feedback on so we can continuously improve and get your thoughts on what other webinar topics you'd like to see from us. We can only improve our support of you if we know what you want as well as what we think you need. Keep a lookout for our ongoing series of complimentary education webinars. As I said at the beginning of the webinar, we are loosely aiming to produce and present 1 a month. There are plenty of places to register for them, from our direct email advertising we're now using MailChimp, and to be honest, sometimes these MailChimp emails go into spam folders, or in Gmail, they go into the promotions boxes. So regularly look into these folders. But also, we are providing registration details in the footer of all of our standard emails. It's there in our Facebook page, and of course, it's on its own page in our website, to name just a few of the places where you can register for those emails. I'm sure the topics will be of interest to you and many others, and please feel free to invite others who you think may benefit from our webinars. You can on-send email invitations or the links, or direct them to our website or Facebook page. Our webinars are for clients and non-clients alike. The more the merrier. If we can help people, then we're doing our job. But for now, I look forward to presenting to you again soon. And on that note, have a great evening, folks, and goodbye for now.